Back during the NBA trade deadline when the Chicago Bulls traded for Nikola Vucevic, I made a video on why I thought the Chicago Bulls would make the playoffs, as I thought that would be enough for them to get over the hump. But unfortunately, for the sake of my takes, and unfortunately for Bulls fans, they did not make the playoffs. However, I was pretty excited to see what they would do in the offseason. It was rumored that they would get a lot of the top free agents, and I gotta say, they have been amazing throughout this year's free agency. And today, I wanted to make a video just rambling about the Chicago Bulls and why I think they will make the playoffs. Before we do get started, make sure you guys go ahead and check out my podcast. If you guys haven't already, the link to it will be in the description below. I will upload there like weekly, so if you guys want to get more content from me, go ahead and check it out. But without further ado, let me just go ahead and ramble about the Chicago Bulls. Now, let's first talk about the Lonzo Ball signing, and I gotta say, I absolutely love it. Now, it was rumored for a while that they would initiate a sign-in trade for Lonzo Ball, and I gotta say, if Lonzo Ball were to leave the New Orleans Pelicans, I thought the Chicago Bulls would be a perfect fit. And speaking of the New Orleans Pelicans, seriously, fire David Griffin, and the owner, you don't deserve to be the owner of this franchise. Go ahead and sell it to someone who's willing to, keep them in New Orleans, since I kind of want to see them stay, and also, isn't an absolutely terrible owner like you are. But anyways, enough about the New Orleans Pelicans. I absolutely love the Lonzo Ball sign-in trade. All they had to really give up was Tomas Satoransky, Garrett Temple, and a second-round pick, which I gotta say, that was a really good sign-in trade for Lonzo Ball. Now, Lonzo Ball, I will admit, he does have his consistency issues. However, Lonzo Ball was really good last season, especially in the second half of the year, and was one of the reasons why he got a contract over $20 million for 4 years this past year's free agency. And I gotta say, if he can be a really consistent player that plays at a high level consistently throughout the regular season and in the playoffs, Lonzo Ball will be a valuable contributor to this team. One of the reasons why I thought the Chicago Bulls were a perfect fit for Lonzo Ball is because his strengths kind of are the Bulls' weaknesses, and he is the perfect complement to Zach LaVine. Lonzo Ball's strengths are obviously his ability to make plays for others. Now, I will admit he's much better in transition than he is in the half court, so improving his half court playmaking would help, but at the same time, Lonzo Ball is a really good passer, and along with that, he is a really good defensive player, and he can shoot the three ball very well. He's not the best scorer out there, but he is a pretty good three-point shooter. So, when you need him to score, hey, he can shoot threes. And, aside from shooting, Zach LaVine, playmaking and defense, they are weaknesses in Zach LaVine's game. Now, I will say, he has definitely improved in those areas, and last season, he was amazing, and he definitely improved when it came to playmaking and defense. However, even then, Zach LaVine is not the best playmaker or defensive player out there. And Lonzo Ball, he can take the pressure off Zach LaVine, so he won't have to be as good of a defensive player. And Lonzo Ball could just cover for him, more. He can't be a liability, but Lonzo Ball is going to be a great complement defensively. And along with that, Zach LaVine will not have to make for others as much, and he can still be a decent, secondary playmaker, and occasionally he can make plays for others, but Lonzo Ball will now mainly be doing the true point guard stuff and, make plays for, his teammates like Zach LaVine, and he is really going to help out Zach LaVine get more open looks. And last season, Zach LaVine was extremely good scoring the ball, and he had maybe his most efficient season ever. Scratch that. Definitely his most efficient season ever, And, I definitely think he could be, it's kind of scary to think that maybe he could be a little bit more efficient, given the fact that now he has a true playmaker that can get him open looks, and that's just going to help make just elevate Zach LaVine's game in general. Lonzo Ball, man, I absolutely love it. And let's also not forget Nikola Vucevic, who last season when he got traded to Chicago, wasn't exactly amazing, and Chicago wasn't exactly, a very good team when he arrived there. However, I do think part of the reason why is because, he was still trying to learn the Bulls system, and I think he was still trying to, develop some chemistry, so there were going to be some growing pains. However, Nikola Vucevic is now going to get a full offseason to learn the Bulls system and also just develop chemistry with his teammates, and that's just going to make Chicago gel a whole lot better. And because of that, they're just going to look like a much better team when they play on the court. And along with that, that's going to give Lonzo Ball a good big man to run pick and pops and pick and rolls with, and because of that, Nikola Vucevic is also going to benefit from Lonzo Ball because he's a great playmaker. A really good combination to have in basketball is a good playmaking guard and a good scoring big man. It's just a formula for success, between the two. I mean, Lonzo Ball was an absolutely awesome pickup. That's all I can really say. And because of that, Kobe White, I mean, he'll be relegated to the bench. And I mean, I know Bulls fans love Kobe White, and I mean, Kobe White, he's pretty decent. However, I mean, in my opinion, he's not exactly an amazing playmaker. And I mean, he can be a pretty good backup point guard, and I think that's a really good role for Kobe White. And then let's also talk about the DeMar DeRozan signing, which on the day I'm recording this, well, I'm actually recording it on the day of the DeMar DeRozan sign-in trade. Yes, just sign-in trade, and I will say this first. Apologies for him not being in the thumbnail. When my thumbnail designer made the thumbnail, I mean, it was before the DeMar DeRozan sign-in trade, and I didn't exactly want to be, too mean to my thumbnail designer. So yeah, I mean, apologies for that. But let's talk about the DeMar DeRozan sign-in trade. I really like this. DeMar DeRozan really just adds star power to the Chicago Bulls team, and I mean, he's gonna make him a lot more fun to watch. I will say that, but also he is gonna help him a lot. He is a great scorer. Now, albeit he is way more of an old school type scorer. Like, his 3-point shooting is not exactly amazing, and that is kind of a concern, because like, how he's gonna fit in with the Chicago Bulls? Like, what is he gonna do when the ball's not in his hands? Like, can he be, develop somewhat of a 3-point shot? Like, he has sometimes shown flashes of one, but yeah, like, that will be kind of questionable. But DeMar DeRozan is still a very good player nonetheless. He is a really good, he's a really good scorer, as I said before, and he's also a really good playmaker, and that was something that really was highlighted this past season. He's going to serve as like a secondary or like a third playmaker. I mean, he can make plays for others when Lonzo Ball isn't that guy making plays for others. And again, I mean, having a good playmaker to run your offense, it'll do wonders, and it is going to help the entire team. And DeMar DeRozan, you're really good attacking the basket, and he is a great mid-range shooter. Now, as I said before, it would be very nice if he could develop somewhat of a 3-point shot to the point where he's an average to an above average 3-point shooter, since he's going to be a much better fit. But I mean, nonetheless, I still like the DeMar DeRozan sign and trade. Now, they did have to go Thaddeus Young, and he was really good for them. But I mean, in the end, I do think it was kind of worth it, because DeMar DeRozan is a much better player than Thaddeus Young. Now, I mean, I will say that $28 million, I believe. I mean, I think that's the contract he got. That is a lot for for DeMar DeRozan, but I mean, he's still a really good player nonetheless. And let's also not forget, they still have some really good players on the roster. Kobe White, as I said before, I think he will be a really good backup point guard. They got Patrick Williams as well, and he had a great rookie season. And I mean, with all these, amazing offensive guys around him, he doesn't have to be, as good on offense. He won't have to be an elite shot creator. I mean, he can just be a good spot up shooter and, just not be a liability in offense. That's kind of all he's asked to do, and, just be a decent 3-point shooter at the very least. And along with that, he is an amazing defensive player, and that's really going to help out this team a lot. Since I will admit, while they have a lot of offensive star power, I will admit the defense on this team is not quite as good. However, Lonzo Ball and Patrick Williams, they are still really good defensive players. And along with that, they did get Alex Caruso, who should be a pretty good backup 2 guard. And I mean, overall, the Chicago Bulls got a really nice team. And I mean, next year, I think the Bulls could be like, this past season's Phoenix Suns, this past year's Phoenix Suns. The Suns, for years were at the bottom of the Western Conference, or like towards the bottom, but then they just kind of rise and, eventually are one of the top teams in the West. And then for the Chicago Bulls, I mean, they can go from being one of the worst teams in the Eastern Conference to one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, and I could see them finishing as high as like the 4 seed, maybe 3 seed. 3 seed might be a little bit of a stretch, because you do have to deal with teams like the Brooklyn Nets, the reigning champions, and the Milwaukee Bucks, and then you got the 76ers, who were really good in the regular season last year. Playoffs, I mean, it's kind of like, we don't know what you're going to get for them, but still, I mean, the 76ers are still an amazing team. But the point is, the Chicago Bulls, man, they have been, I love what their general, I can't remember his name, or I mean, I don't really want to say it, because I have a feeling that I will butcher it. But I mean, all I can say is that he has been absolutely awesome. He has really turned this ship around in the Windy City, and I gotta say, the Bulls are gonna be a really fun team to watch next season, and I am really excited to see what they can do next year, and hopefully they do make the playoffs next year, because I mean, those fans have been through quite a bit of pain, and I mean, it would be nice to see Chicago Bulls basketball really be better. back. But with that being said, I mean, that's kind of all I have to say for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It truly means a lot to me. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button as it really helps out the channel. And also make sure to subscribe if you guys are new and you guys enjoy this type of content. And you guys, so you don't miss out on any new videos. And we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And once we hit our goal, I'm finally going to do a face reveal. But without further ado, I'm out, you guys.